What's going on, y'all? Sorry about the wait, man. I just got to work. As you can see, I'm not at home. They told me yesterday could I come in early, so I'm having to do my live from work for the first time. Normally, I'm at home. But so what's going on, y'all? Sorry about the wait. We gonna get about and decide the subject is who is policing us. Who's policing us, man? This comes from me. Listening to DL Hughley, and he asked that question, and it got me wondering, who is policing us? Um, they take that oath, and they get special privileges as well. And one thing they get discounts as police officers. They get immunity. If you don't know what immunity is they're they have special privileges under the justice system with immunity. So, like DL Hughley said, it comes with the territory of them becoming police officers. Um, and I can kind of speak on that because about 2-3 years ago, I went out to try to be a Detroit police officer. So, I knew when I decided to go and pursue to be an officer, I knew what came with that job description. Do they get paid a lot to police? No. But at the same time, you're not going in for the money. You're not going to get. It's like teachers. Teachers don't go in for. Most of them don't go in for the money. Most of them go in because they love the children. They have a passion for children. So it's the same thing as a cop. If you go into becoming a cop, you going to becoming a cop, loving to serve the people. Um, that's if you really, 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 really want to be a cop, and you want to do your job. I always say, when it comes to being a cop, a lot of your job is communication, and everybody hollers on the job training. That's most of um, that's mostly what police officing and that raised the question, who's policing us. Um, because if you took that oath and you really mean that oath, on that door it says to serve and protect. Too many times they don't serve and they don't protect, and a lot of that could be just as easy as communication. That's like your relationship or your marriage. If you're not talking to each other, how do you know what's going on with each other? And I had to learn it myself in my own marriage. It's pretty much like being a cop. You know, you got to be able to communicate with the public, and you got to be able to calm situations down as well. You can't be the aggressor all the time as a cop. Sometimes you have to play the peacemaker. Um, so that's why I really wanted to get in who's policing us, because that's a very powerful question, and a question that we all should be wondering at the end of the day. Uh, who's there to protect us? Who's there to get paid and go home? It's all kinds of scenarios and situations when it comes to to policing. And like $2 said, you do have the right to remain silent. That's absolutely true. But Joe Vaughn, what's going on? James Ewing, Shannon Ewing in the building. A real deal. OG $2. Holla out some of y'all. Coy. Gilly Suit, what's going on? And tactical tourism. But we have to ask that question because the Supreme Court ruled that police officers don't have to protect us at the end of the day. That's crazy because If you're not willing to protect the people, then what did you become a cop for? In my eyes, that's what I believe a cop is there to do, to protect the people. Um, Too many times they get away from that, and and at the end of the day, they want to go home. I get it, I understand it, but at the end of the day, my tax dollars. If I call you and I need you to protect me, that's why I pay my tax dollars for. What's up, ghetto? Here goes some with real deal. Let me drop this link if anybody want to come in. Y'all can definitely come in if y'all want to. I am on by myself. If y'all want to jump in and let's have this conversation. If you want to jump in the line, you're more than welcome to. The link is out there. But Real Deal says that the police officer can use a small chat. You can have a small chat with a cop, and they can use that in the court. They can use that in the court. They do not have to read your Miranda rights. So cops are not your friends. Don't do no talking, basically. Man, this thing. Hold on, y'all. One thing on computer act crazy. Yeah, I'm having a shitty connection for some reason. What's up, hot tub? If y'all want to, y'all can join the conversation. But um, yeah. At the end of the day, that the gun thing comes along with you being a cop. Um, all right, y'all. My computer. Man, I wish I was home. I'm not home. I'm at work, and it's acting stupid. It's not letting me do my picture. Guns don't argue. What's going on? But yeah, that they get perks and benefits for being a cop. But like I said, I can understand them trying to get home. So I don't expect the cop to play hero. I just expect the cop to serve and protect. That's the oath they took. So NWA was a big part of it. I agree. Um, but I say that because I have a cousin that's a cop. So at the end of the day, I still want my cousin to be able to make it home safe, but also do the right thing as well. So some of us have members, family members as cops. So at the end of the day, you don't want your family member to get hurt because of a few bad apples. And that's one thing about my cousin. I do not want my cousin to get hurt on the job because of a few bad apples in his department. So, and then I was going to be a cop as well. So, I at the end of the day, I still got some respect for cops, but at the same time, I know that a lot of a lot of precincts and a lot of these stations need to also need to be cleaned up. one big factor when it comes to cops is immunity. Immunity works against us in the public, um, it works against us when we're trying to say that the cops are doing things completely wrong. So they get a pass sometimes when it comes to them doing some of the wrong things because they have that statute in the laws that they're exempt from immunity, or they have immunity when it comes to them and the things that they do sometimes. What's going on, Carbon? What's up, sis? Carbon Q. Oh, that's true. That's true. Remain silent. It says it on your, if you have um carry insurance, it says that on your card. If you because I have, what do I have? USCCA as my carry insurance, and this just tells them, a I threaten for my life, and just let them know you want to talk, call yourself a lawyer, and you just stay silent until your lawyer get there. But I mean, that's common sense. I mean, that's just stuff you need to know as you grow and become an adult. But I'm just saying, it all comes down. Yeah, it's a gang of bad behind it. Yeah, the law is behind it. That's 100%. If you know that, if you were raised like my auntie, I would say, get to know the law yourself. So if you know that, then you know what comes along with dealing with the cops. But like I said, all of them are not bad. But at the end of the day, when cops speak out against other cops, we need to back that cop up, because it's frowned upon for another cop to talk against another cop. So at the same time, while we expecting them to do that, when they come out and they say something, we got to back that cop up 110%. You can't have it both ways. You got to pick one way or the other. So then that's why I said, with my cousin, he's one of the few that I believe won't get his nose dirty, but at the same time, he is a cop. So I don't know. Let's just put like, I don't know. But me and him, we was raised by my grandmother, and we was always told, do right, do right to others as you would want done unto you. So I would hope, he loved my grandma so much. I would hope he honored my grandmother. But at the same time, if he decided to talk out against the department, I would hope that city gets behind him 100% and backs him up for doing the right thing. We want him to do the right thing, but we also have to back them up at the same time. It's almost like a fraternity. You don't talk out against that fraternity unless you're ready to take the backlash. And if they're ready to take the backlash, then we have to be with them 110%. Back them up, go to court with them, support them. So, it's definitely a slippery road, I will say. And you always do that. Always invoke your Fifth Amendment. You're absolutely right, Coy. That's the reason why you pay lawyers to do the talking for you. You don't do the talking. You always get yourself in trouble when you do the talking. But that's why I say, who's policing us? You got to remember that. And like I said, I'm not arguing. I'm not saying that ghetto. I said there's a few bad apples, and them bad apples need to be exposed. But with exposing them bad apples, and the cops that comes out and say something, we need to back them up 100%. That cop putting a 12 gauge to a 5-year-old head, he should have been fired from the soonest. He should have been recommended and probably put on desk duty, because what can a 5-year-old do that he needs a shotgun 12 gauge put to his head? That's what I'm talking about. Officers like that don't need to be on the force. They need to be at a desk job somewhere, sitting behind, not dealing with the public. Like I said, dealing with the public, you have to learn how to communicate with the public. And a lot of cops do not know how to communicate. No, you good, ghetto. Hey, you know I don't have no problem by people speaking their mind. You good, man. I understand. And that's that immunity. That's the and I had talked to this before. We have to fight for them to change the language of the law. Just like them two guys did in New York and said it was unjustifiable and they were stepping on a Second Amendment rights and they took it to Supreme Court. I'm not saying that they won, but I'm saying that's a small step toward where we want to go. Now, New York is saying that they're going to quote unquote put in safety areas or safety measures because they don't like that they stepped on and making them change their laws in New York for people to be able to get their concealed carry license. Um, so it just starts with one step and then you build on that one step to try to get that change to come. Um, we gotta understand, and when you're reading the law, you gotta make sure you understand the language of the law, and that's a big thing with police officers. You know, I'm not saying every cop is bad, but you do have a nice majority of them that makes the whole department look horrible. And you would think you want cops to speak out, but with them speaking out, they're speaking out against something that they believe in. So if you police are not policing, most departments are. The problem is the blue wall. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Real deal. But okay, say if a cop does say something, are you willing to vouch for that cop and support that cop all the way through? Anybody put yes or no in that comment section, please. If a cop is willing to go against another cop, jeopardizing his livelihood and jeopardizing his family's safety, are you willing to stand up with that cop and back that cop up 110%? Because he lose all that. Put yes or no, hands up or hands down to that question I just asked. And the only reason I asked this question is because I have a cousin. We both went into uh, fill out to be a cop at the same time. He went through the academy, and now he's on the street patrolling the streets. If a cop is willing to talk against another cop, are you willing to support that cop 100%? Thumbs up or thumbs down? This is going to be an interesting question. And if you want to talk about it, you can definitely hit the chat. I'm going to paste this link out here again if you want to jump in. No shit. What's up, Armel? What's up, Guns? Don't argue. I'll go ahead and jump in the pool. I don't know what's going on with my picture. Man, I don't know what the hell going on with this thing. What's up, Hot Tub Tony?
What's up, Skilly?
What's going on, brother?
Hey man, you talking about a topic that's I got some thoughts and some feelings about that, bro.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead. You know, we just talk about it.
Hey man, my experience with police is different. I guess it's different from yours. It's not a problem with police, and policing is operating exactly how it's been since its inception in this country. You started out as a slave catcher, and to this day, y'all still catching slaves. What you consider a slave. That ain't changed. How
No,
their whole tactics haven't changed. Ain't no such thing as a good police officer. You are a good person in a bad organization,
okay. Well,
maybe.
yeah.
But as they go on, yeah, you might come in there good, but for you to have any type of career in the police, you got to get you're dirty in some way. You've done something. And especially if you got any kind of rank in the police department, you've definitely done something. So everybody say, oh, they just need to be retrained. We can train them better. No, how you going to train a system that's designed to work as it's working now?
That's true.
You can't do nothing but start over again. Tear it down, start over again. Because we have no system of justice. It's justice for some people, but
not all.
For the vast majority of us,
Yeah.
especially those that look like me,
Yeah.
ain't no justice for us. For the
Yeah.
most part, you can meet. You got some cool ones on an individual basis, but outside of that, yeah, I don't think so, man. That's just me. But
No,
you
I
know,
feel you. I feel you. Only reason I brought this up because, like I said, DL Hughley was talking about it, and he said, "Who's policing us?" And it got me thinking. Like, yeah, that is a good topic to talk about because, like you said, the system it was already established to catch us. And like you said, slave catchers, dogs sicked on us, and all type of stuff. So yeah, like you said, it's a slippery slope, but it does need to be tear down and redone again.
yeah, they nothing more than glorified tax collectors. That's the vast majority of their job is to generate income for their cities and municipalities, bro.
Hey, Dad.
Thank you, son. Thank you.
Yeah, Jovan, that's exactly what Hot Tub just said. Most definitely.
Look, that's just my 2 cents on it, Skilly. I don't have a whole lot of faith in them because what do they solve? They somebody said it before in one of these lives, man. They react to crime. They're not proactive. They don't
No,
stop crime. So what are you really doing?
that's a good question, real deal. Who's policing the police? That's a real good question.
Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that immunity system that they live on that.
You got to
Until they really start really bringing out these cameras and really showing the one. I mean, the cops doing what they doing is now that they really consider locking these cops up for such and such and such. How many years will they get? We will find out. Will
I
they
mean,
serve a true term? We don't know.
look at it, Skilly. If a cop do a crime, the same police department he's a part of is responsible for investigating.
Oh yeah.
That's a conflict of interest in and of itself.
Yep.
Supposedly, the federal government is supposed to
Supposed
be
to step
watching.
in. Yep. And do the investigation. You absolutely right.
But as you see, we're now on the third administration that won't take any actions against the police. I would even go back further than that. But I just use the last three. And it don't matter whether it's Democrat or Republican administration. There is an unwillingness about the Justice Department to investigate any police department in America.
And that needs to change. Really, that needs to change in itself.
Who's gonna change it when neither party is willing to even address the issue and with any type of serious? Who's gonna change it?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't have no faith in nothing dealing with law enforcement, bro, at all. Zero.
Well, you know what? I had a situation, and I think I might have said this. I don't really have justice. I mean, faith in the justice system because I faced a situation dealing with the justice system. But luckily, my stepmother, and my dad had the money to get me a lawyer because I could be sitting in prison right now, doing a felony, and I think it carried up to 15 to 20 years for grand larceny. So I'm not saying that I don't have faith in the justice system, but I just figured that was a good. I mean, he just had me thinking with me dealing with the justice system and me going through what I had to go through to prove my name and to prove my innocence. So I'm not saying that I trust the justice system cold heartedly. No, I don't, because if my daddy and them didn't have money, I wouldn't be sitting here talking and have a family of my own right now if we didn't have the money to put up to retain a lawyer. So no, I don't have faith in the justice system at all. It's just it just had me thinking, and I figured, it's a good thing to talk about.
I mean, I hear some people say that where if you got money, you can get away with anything. No, that ain't true. Because Bill Cosby proved that
Oh
otherwise.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
That's a
absolutely.
billionaire and he still went down.
Yeah,
So ain't no justice out here. The best you can do is stay out the way of the wrong side of anything.
yeah. You
And
right.
if you
You
got
absolutely.
the, and if you got any kind of carry, make sure you got the carrier insurance and shit, basically enough money to get you out of any kind of jam you gonna run into.
Yeah, you absolutely right. I had a partner. That my wife's best friend, baby daddy cousin. He works for the city now, but I was talking to him, and he didn't have carry insurance. I said, man, get you some carry insurance because it's gonna save you as far as you trying to buy a house. That little $60 to $70 you paying a month, it goes a long way without you having to come out literally out your pocket to pay for a lawyer. And he was like, oh, nobody ever talked to me about carry insurance. I'm like, dude, look into it. You don't know how much it's gonna save you at the end. I mean, like I told him, I think I'm 2 years into paying carry insurance, but I said it's almost like having home insurance. It's almost like having car insurance. It's just there if you need it. Yep, and it ain't talking about a lot of these states are carrying are talking about putting a lot of red flag laws in the books. Couple states. So yeah, you need some carry insurance. If you don't have it, start looking for it. I mean,
Well,
it's a sacrifice, but you need it.
and there's no coincidence that you seeing all these states pop up with constitutional carry laws because they are telling you they know the sentiment for police officers and the public has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to be able to do a lot of the dirty, underhanded stuff that they used to be able to do. So they telling you, okay, since you don't want us policing us, since you don't want us policing you, you don't want us to tell you nothing, you handle your own business. That's pretty much what they tell us.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, these are just my opinions. I ain't asking nobody else to subscribe to it. It's just how I feel about it from just my dealing with the legal system and policing in general. I don't have a whole lot of faith in them.
Yeah, and when you go through it, you really find out what the justice system is like. Until you go through it, you just blind. Well, I ain't gonna say you blind, but until you go through it, then you understand. And like I said, I've been through it, and luckily, my dad them had the money to pull up for a lawyer, and we didn't even go to trial. My lawyer, we didn't even go to trial. They threw it out by the time I was ready to go to trial. But it costs money. That it costs money, and a lot of us don't have that money. And, just to be blamed for something, knowing you didn't do it, but then you got to go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to get yourself a lawyer to say no, I didn't do it. When on video it shows you did not do it, it's the same video they show your lawyer, and you and your lawyer looking at this video, and you like, man, how the hell could they mistake this as a such and such? This is brown. A laptop or whatnot is black. So how did they think this? And it's bigger than a laptop. So yeah, you definitely justice system. You definitely got to make sure you're on your P's and Q's because you can falsely get accused. And there's so many men and women coming out of prison that's been in there 10, 15 years, and later on they find out that, oh well, they weren't never guilty at all. Well, how is this man and woman supposed to get back in society when they had been locked up for 10, 20 years for no reason? Because they was trying to do their job and they just pinned it on somebody. So it's like you say, hot tub. The justice system, man, I don't like it. I don't have faith in it. That's because I done been through the justice system, and the justice system almost got me on some bull. So it just need to be, like you say, tear down and rebuild up completely different. And as far as cops are concerned, if they do something wrong, they need to be held accountable to the law like they do us. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just period. I don't see
I
how
mean,
you can shoot a black man in the back and you got somebody videotaping this. And the only reason that cop got jammed up is because this guy, this minority, decided to take video and literally see this dude shoot this guy in the back 3 to 4 times. Because there was video, then they want to say, okay, we need to go to trial with this. If that guy didn't have that video, it was his word against his. I
I
mean,
mean,
it was his word, and the guy dead and gone.
it's then got to the point where it used to be a time where if it was on video, that was pretty much a done deal for that cop.
Yeah.
You know, we go back to Rodney King for that when it
Oh yeah.
started not to be.
Yeah.
And now they'll release snippets of the video
Oh,
just to
the
see the
cops.
public.
Yeah. They won't even
Um,
do the whole video no more. They'll yeah,
but
and then in some cases they won't even show the video because they said it's such and such.
well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. They'll release some of it to see the public reaction, or they'll release a snippet in the news of it to see how to gauge the public reaction. Okay, if it ain't no outrage behind it, if the public, if and I'm speaking in reference to just black people dealing with police, like black police killing black folks. If we don't react to it, oh, it'll get swept under the rug.
Oh yeah.
But
That's
depending on our reaction to
yeah.
it, is how they aggressively they pursue the case.
And you know what? That's a good example of that case where that mom ended up finding out doing that dirt. What was his name? The African American guy that was the young man that was running through the neighborhood. And ended up
Ahmaud Arbery.
Ahmaud Arbery. That's a good example. That mother did not pursue that case like they did because he was a cop for the prosecutor. And if she did not do that research like she did, her son would have never got justice.
No, she didn't get that. I got to disagree with you on that.
Oh,
What got eyes on that case was them motherfuckers was dumb enough to release it.
yeah.
That one dude that recorded
yeah.
released it, and they were sharing it amongst their friends, and it got on social media. That's what got it.
Oh, okay.
That mama had been fighting that thing for 3 months before it even got any kind of media attention.
Yeah, because
another 2 months before that.
She said she contacted everybody, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know she had found out. She had found out the cop that the son's dad. He worked for the original prosecutor on that case.
Oh, it gets deeper.
And it went from her to another person that was it was crazy. It went down the line to the point they had to go and get a whole nother person from a whole nother county to try that case.
The daddy worked for the DA's department. She passed
that's
the case.
What it was.
She passed the case on to the next county DA, which the son worked for that DA's department.
DA, yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, so you got conflict of interest. If the legal system was working the way it's supposed to work, all of them, including those district attorneys,
should be
prosecuted.
Absolutely.
Now they're wavering right now on whether they're going to prosecute the DA or not.
Yeah, that lady. Yeah,
she got charged, but they're trying to wait. Basically, state of Georgia trying to wait us out to see if the attention goes away, and then they can quietly drop the case against her.
No, they need
because this goes on in every state, every city's district attorney's department. I don't care where you at.
Yep.
So the problem,
you know somebody in that office, you good. That
the
you
problem
got a
is
son
systemic,
or a daughter,
bro.
they'll sweep that right under the rug.
They'll sweep it under the rug. We had a case in Augusta, and this is how I know. In the state of Georgia, $75,000 to get you off a murder case. They had a guy in Augusta. His dad owned a major appliance store down there, Davis Appliance. This dude killed. He ended up killing somebody. He was on drugs. They prosecuted him. He went to jail. He got convicted. He was supposed to do 30 years. They let him go. His daddy paid the judge $75,000. They let him go a year and a half into his sentence.
Oh, that's bullshit.
No probation, no parole.
Oh my God.
It was a little bit of public outrage about it, but it died down real quick. And he's still out and about. So it depends on two things. Do you got the complexion for the protection, and do you got the paper?
Yeah.
If you got them two things, oh yeah, you can walk on down to anything in this country.
Not all of us, brother. Just saying.
What's going on, Ghetto?
What's up, fellas?
Triple D.
You know, I came in the Lions Den as a white dude, so I had to.
And I appreciate both of you guys, man. I know it's really a hot.
Hey, no, it's good. It's good that people talk about it. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's good that people talk about it. But at the same time, we all in it together.
Yeah.
Because there's no way. I'm gonna start off my conversation with there's no way that you'll understand what it's like to look like me dealing with the police, and I will never understand what it looks like to be you dealing with the police. And regardless of the statistics and the history of it, My ass been beat by the same motherfuckers that beat their ass. You know what I mean? So it's all about it's all about what we do as adults and how we can fight the law to protect our children from having to experience the same situations because it shouldn't matter where the hell we grew up.
Absolutely.
Because to me, that's where it lies. They're not doing this shit in Beverly Hills. They're not
No,
doing this shit in the suburbs. They're doing it in the hoods and the trailer parks.
absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Yes and no. I'll agree with you up to a certain extent. Yes, do white folks get mistreated in the legal system? Of course, but you still have a level of protection mechanism in place for you guys that we're not afforded to. We get thrown football numbers on the first offense.
All right,
They're
so
a lot. They're a lot more lenient with you guys depending on the crime.
what
That's
tell
why
me
I'll even go so far as this. Just look at what's going on now. You got a whole meth epidemic right now that they're treating as a mental
Mental,
disorder.
mental disorder.
But we had the same epidemic with the crack
Crack,
era.
yeah.
Same thing. It was a mental. If you're going to classify one as a mental disorder, you have to classify both as.
Both, yeah.
But no, what we got was mass incarceration. What we got is generations of our fathers put in prison for basically nonviolent crimes for decades. So if I don't see that, I don't see that equivalent on you guys' side. And there's no knock to you when I'm saying this, but we got to deal with facts. Y'all don't.
as
There
my
is no equivalent to mass incarceration for white people, or Hispanic people, or Asian people. There ain't.
is it complexion or economic status?
If that was the case, then poor white people would be incarcerated at the same way as poor black people.
Well, I
That
understand that part. I
if it
understand
was
that.
economics.
Look, man, I'm educated. Well, sort of educated, but I understand the incarceration rate. My pops taught me at a young age. He did 5 years in Chino as a black dude. So, I'm not completely unintelligent. Those are laws that's been in place for hundreds of years. I'm not taking anything away from that. I mean, a black dude, especially in Georgia, down south, shit like that. We ain't got as many problems up north, like most people do, down where y'all are at. But I understand a white dude can have a $20 rock and he gonna get 9 months probation while a brother gets 10 years in prison. I understand it. I completely understand it. Um, and I had a different point, but then I just went off scale. But I do understand it, man. I'm always gonna see it as an economic thing, um, or not even just economic, but specifically where you're from, because it's also regional. Our laws up here. That's why I was saying in chat earlier is that we got to fight the law before we can even handle the police. I mean, we
Well,
don't we just don't say nothing to the police because we got to fight the laws, but we can't fight the laws if they're already against us. How are we gonna fight something that it was designed to go against us? And that's across the board. That's across cultures.
and that well, I will say this, Now, I'm not saying all white people bad. Now, that's not what I'm saying. And I don't
Oh,
want.
you good, man?
I don't want
Speak
that to
candidly.
be.
You good?
I don't want that to be construed when I say this, but it does not affect you guys at a rate that it affects us. So there's not there's not a incentive
Uh,
for most
depend.
white people to go against the grain because it
Uh,
don't affect it. Most of them it don't affect, and the ones that do get affected by it, or the ones that are compassionate to what we're going through, get
okay, but
shouted
so
down
how?
by their own people, and we
So
got to be
what?
honest about that.
I can't be honest about something I don't know, because
You
all my uncles, my real dad, they all white, homie. They all spent time in the penitentiary for legit things. So that's why I
but that
say it's not like I
caveat on
can't
that.
agree with you, but at the same time, it's where we're from. It's what we did.
All right, on this one we go. I guess we gonna have to, like I say, we might not agree on this one because, like you said something that was a caveat. They went to prison for a legit thing. If you out there doing dirt, You got to expect those that's in the game already expect what comes with the game. They know they're going to jail at some point in time, or
Yeah,
they know they're gonna die at some point in time.
Yeah,
I'm not
pretty
talking
much.
about. I'm not talking about those people. Those people that are in the life expect what comes with the
it
life.
becomes
I'm
with it.
talking about civilians, people who ain't in the life, who are try to stay all the way out the
Just
way.
walking down, yeah, just walking down
Those
the
are the
street
people
and
I'm
getting
speaking.
lynched by some fucking fucked up people. I get you. I hear you.
You know, that's what I'm speaking on. If you doing dirt, you already know.
You already know what's going on.
So
But in that one, I ain't got nothing on that one. I
you
mean,
know,
I ain't got nothing on that one other than, I got my own little experiences, but probably wasn't because
everybody
I was
does.
white. Probably because my pants was down to my leg, down to my knees is why I kept getting mowed over.
But
And
yeah,
my
we definitely are talking about, like I said, the one cop that shot the black guy in the back, and that Caucasian guy actually taped it. And that's the injustice that's, and when he said that, it clicked with me because he just said, who's policing us? And
Right, right.
with being a cop, you do get perks, you do get discount on houses, you get different things for being a cop. Let's not get it twisted. But at the same time, when you took that oath, and well, in quote unquote in general, you were supposed to serve and protect. That's what it says. I promise to serve and protect, blah, 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 that crap. But I just, who is policing us? I guess.
I
well,
believe our devices are policing us. The technology is policing
that
us.
is true.
Yeah.
And it's not even down to the it's a wiretap and all that. No, they man, they policing our emotions. They're policing every fabric of us, and that's why my children, my 16-year-old daughter, doesn't even have a social media account. It's not because I said she's not allowed to, but I taught her at a young age that you use this as a tool. If
Yeah.
you need to get something, then you use this, and that's the only way to do. But that's it. Don't sit there and worry about looking at pictures with, you know what I mean, of all the other stuff and going down these up rabbit holes or whatnot. Obviously, I said it a little bit more eloquently, um, but we're in a time right now where they're able to control us. I mean, and let me ask you this. Now, I understand it's deeply ingrained in y'all. You know, it's, and this last time I'll say it because y'all should know me better than this. But I mean it out of no disrespect. But don't you think the system has a reason for giving us all of these videos and situations of brothers and sisters getting gunned down? I mean, why is it that there's still a certain amount? I'm not saying more, I'm not saying less, but there is still a certain amount of whites, Mexicans, Filipinos, Chinese. We're all getting smoked in my eyes. But the main thing I'm asking is why are they telling us just on the black folks? I
Why
mean,
they
they pushing it down our throat. I'm not
why,
saying it's a bad thing, but it's the only thing that's coming at us. Why is that? That's the question I want to know is why is that?
well
I,
did go ahead, Skilla. I'm
no, go
sorry.
go ahead. I'm just thinking. Go ahead. 'Cause that's a good question.
I see where you're going with this, and I really do. So I'm gonna say this kind of different. And I choose my words real careful how I say this. So you think, and correct me if I'm wrong. Are you insinuating that they trying to push some kind of race based conflict?
They're trying to continue the race division between us. Yes.
That well, that could be that could be an option. But for me, I think it's more so they're trying to desensitize us to it to where we become apathetic with our own deaths. And that's the way I see it. If I'm gonna keep hitting you over the head with all this murder porn, then eventually we gonna get to a point where I guess we just supposed to sit here and take it. I guess this is just the way it is because that's how it was. Now it's the one thing about us we consistently as a people have resisted our own extermination. We're not just gonna sit here and let you just take us out. We're gonna
Yeah,
make sure
y'all proved that through slavery though. That's what I'm saying. So how would that make sense if
but
you
we
guys
are
already proved that throughout slavery and they was physically doing it, not just shooting it into your mind, man. They was obviously y'all know. But
Well, let me
my
say
point
this.
is
Oh,
they
go ahead. Go ahead.
physically did it. Sorry, Skill. I'm just saying that
No,
they
no, go ahead.
physically did it for centuries. just like they did with Native Americans or whatever throughout time. But you know, this is the most recent one, and they did y'all foul. Shit, we wouldn't have a fucking medical industry if it wasn't for black folks. My point is they physically did it, not just mentally. So how would they gain anything off of just mentally doing it and thinking y'all just gonna come out apathetic?
Because everything evolves. They're trying to find whatever is going to be the breaking point to where we actually give up. Every other group,
Or
hold on, every other group is giving up. Hispanics get done wrong. They do. But by and large, Hispanics don't what gets done to them. Asians get done wrong, but Asians don't fight what get when they get done bad. Unless it's black people, then they'll fight. But we consistently fight not only just for us, but for everybody else. All the gains that every other minority group got was off our backs and our struggles. So that's very that's very inspiring to other groups of people. So to keep everybody from going and bucking the system, break what's your inspiration. You get what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not saying it well.
yeah, no, I get exactly what you're saying. I'm just in the mindset that they continue to do it so you can blame the white people for not actually getting in trouble for the same crimes, and y'all ain't focused on the actual system that's doing the crimes. You blaming the people that ain't being affected by those same situations, if that makes sense.
But the only people that don't accept, but we all know who to blame is. We all know systematically all this shit is fucked up. But by and
Yeah,
large, outside of maybe I, I'm gonna say it how it's in my mind. Ghetto, you cool, but is everybody in your family cool with black folks? Because
they
it,
pretty
it
much have to be, but nah. Shit,
but
I got clan members down there in motherfucking Kansas City.
that's
So I
honest.
hear I hear what you're
That's
saying.
honest. But no,
I hear what
that's
you're
what I
saying.
was getting at. So the only people that act like shit ain't going wrong in the system is people who benefit from the system. And
Exactly.
yes, you have a whole lot of you. We have a whole lot of people like the Ewans that may not be with the bullshit. But my task to you would be to the only way you gonna and we're gonna enact that change that we want to see, that everybody should want to see, is y'all got to start checking your group. You got to start checking the members of your group that you know out of pocket.
Yeah.
But that comes with consequences.
Oh yeah.
Same like in policing. If you tell on a police officer, that comes with
The
consequences.
consequences, you are considered an outcast at that point, a traitor.
When you go against white supremacy as a white person, that comes with consequences.
Yeah.
So I understand the unwillingness to check those around you that you know are out of pocket. I get it. That don't make it right though. But I understand the apprehension. But let's not get on panels like this. And I'm not saying you in particular, but I'm saying in general when I see it, when I see panels like this on the news media, they get on there and they're being intellectually dishonest about this whole thing. And that's what we got to stop. I welcome conversations like these because at least everybody I get to see where everybody head at. At
Yeah.
least
Yeah,
I know who's who.
exactly.
I like to know.
Exactly.
I like open races because I know where you stand. I know how I'm gonna deal with you. What I don't like is people that act like I ain't like this, and then you let them
They
talk
really
long
are.
enough, and they really are.
Right.
Right, right. No, I got you.
So
But we
that's
also
it.
can't but we also can't expect, sorry, Skiller, 1 second.
No, go ahead.
Once I didn't mean to interrupt you, but once we figure out, dang, I lost my shit over here, worried about cutting you off. Man, it's so hot out here. I'm sorry. It's like 100. Man, we up in the Northwest, man. It ain't supposed to be 100. Motherfuckers frying our balls out. Sorry,
And
Skiller,
ghetto,
go ahead, man.
I say this: a lot of stuff that was covered up, a lot of stuff is coming out because citizens are pulling out their phones and
Hmm.
they're sending that stuff to the outlets, to the media outlets, and kind of forcing it down their throats. Like, hey, look at this, and a lot of them are actually kind of publicizing what's going on with the policing. So you got a lot of people now that can pull out a phone, and the police got to be like, okay, I got to kind of watch what I do.
But even now,
Yeah.
they don't care that you
And they
got.
don't care. I've seen people that they deliberately look at the phone, police officers look at the phone and continue to do what they don't do.
I,
Yeah.
I I like when we deal with these issues because it rips the band-aid off, and the only way you gonna get that healing is you got to get smile to it. Rip the band-aid off of all this bullshit and call it to the table for
Mm-hmm.
what it is. So when we say these things, don't I get where you coming from, Ghetto. I do. But your experiences, although you've been around in close proximity to us, your experience will never be ours. So how we look at things is not how you would look at things.
100%,
Other guys,
100%. Yeah, straight up. Just
And I
like
was
and
your experience will never be mine because
yeah.
I'm actually considered a traitor to my own race in particular crowds. So again, you know what I mean? If you know a Uncle Tom, brother, and y'all know what I'm talking about, no
oh yeah,
disrespect to anybody, but
no,
you
we
know how
called them
they're
out
treated.
too.
But you know what I'm saying, though. I mean, it comes down to the emotions and the emotional part of all of it, the feelings or the automatic judgment as a whole. And this ain't to nobody here. I'm just saying when you judge a race, regardless of whatever, that is what they want. That's exactly what they want. It is the system that's against us. We need to figure out how to fucking change the system. Period. The system. Because just like you said, Skilly, that people are taking camera, they're videoing what's happening, they're sending it to the news organization. Well, the same system gave us these devices. The same system, six families, and y'all can look it up. Six families run every fucking media outlet in the world. So they are feeding us back the same shit to keep us against each other. They're showing us what they want to show us
Yep.
because they know the reaction of it. It's been a psychological war ever since World War II been over.
To a
And
certain
unfortunately, they're winning.
to a certain degree, I agree with you. I'm not even gonna argue that to a certain degree. But once they, if you say in the six families on, I heard that theory before. But my issue is this: that it ain't the media that's stoking. Where they are to a certain extent stoking racial divide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But even with all that stoking of the fight, you still have to have willing participants, and there are
Yep.
far too many people in every race that are willing to participate in this because
Yeah.
you have and we got to be honest, you do have a system of white supremacy and you have a hierarchy. The Asians not going to buck because they've been told they're the minority. The Hispanics not going to buck because they know they like their position to being above us. And
Ain't
that's
that a trip?
and that's
Ain't
how
that a
and that's how
trip?
it works. So everybody's comfortable in their positions in this system of supremacy.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get that. But
The only people that
psychologically, ain't
are uncomfortable is pretty much us, because everybody else has accepted that. Okay, well, if I speak out of white people, if I speak out against this, there is a system that is in place to help me in every facet of life. I would be unwilling to give that up
right.
if I had that. So I get the apprehension of everybody.
So as a parent, though, Tony, as a parent, when do we stop teaching our children that this side is against us, you can't do this or whatnot? Because to me, I believe it also goes back to the home and what we learn from our parents. Again, I've been raised by multicultural parents, and I heard different things.
From both
I
of them.
mean, just look, just imagine being raised by a white dude
Mm-hmm.
as a child, right? And you'll kind of understand what I'm saying. So, and it wasn't even, but my point is, it wasn't even on purpose, but I was being taught the things that he was taught, right? By
Mm-hmm.
his grandparents that went through, the Panther era and everything else. So he's teaching me or telling me things against my own color. You know what I mean? And so I'm not saying I'm a victim here. I love it. I love my childhood. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I love my childhood, regardless how bad it was or whatever. But my point is it's like outside looking in when it comes to the racial part of all the policing us and all this other stuff. I believe it's generational, as in it all depends on what our great grandparents taught our grandparents, grandparents taught our parents, because we leak it down to our children, regardless of how we feel. So even if those problems were over with, and I'm not saying they're over with, but I'm saying even if we got that utopian world that we feel like in our own brains that everybody got along and kumbaya, we wouldn't know it because we learned something different as a child. So how are we able to get to that point where we're not leaking down to our children the shit that happened to us back in the 80s or the 90s or whatever? When will it ever stop? And that's why I go back to the psychological warfare, and they've been playing it for decades, if not hundreds of years, because they've ingrained this victim mentality, this and it's not just victim mentality because
I don't like that term.
I'm a lack of
I
word.
think
Exactly.
I
That's
think
why
we
I'm
should use
trying
that
to.
term.
That's why
I
I'm
really
trying to
do.
say it different. That's why I'm trying to say it different because it's not. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's basically lack of a better word. But we're taught that there's always something against us, and that hinders us from actually growing to be what we can be in this life. You see what I'm saying? Like it
I'm,
hinders us. Just planting that seed as a child. Okay, over here is bad no matter what.
okay.
That's gonna. You understand what I mean?
I get it. I get it. I'll tell you the same thing I tell anybody. If you if y'all truly want it to stop, well, you're a part of the group that can stop it because you the major beneficiaries of it. If white people collectively say, "Hey, man, we just gonna stop all this bullshit," it will stop immediately. All the systems that were put in place would instantly collapse. So I would task that more so to you guys to talk to your families and friends on that issue and work it from your end. We work it from our end. Everybody address the issue, and I'm more so. This is my stance on most things. I address the things that affect my group with my group first, and I would task you guys to do the same thing because you are the main people that can stop it.
See, that's
If you don't like that these five families control everything, hey man, stop them from controlling it. Because y'all have the
well. I mean, you're assuming they white, homie.
well, whatever color that is, you're in a better economic state to stop it.
Nah, I'm not in a bed.
Not you in particular, but
I wish I could hear you. I,
your group collectively is the biggest economic driver in this society. So you have the
which is
money.
kind of crazy since they're the minority,
You have the
as in they only have 9% of the population of the world. That right there should throw some red flags.
they
I'm
should.
not, you know what I mean? Like that right there should trip everybody out because there's more brothers and sisters than white folks. I don't care how many countries you put together. There's more Chinese than fucking white folks. So it makes you really think. Me personally, now it's the devil's world, so they're gonna do whatever the hell they're gonna do. I just don't see it on a racial boundary, and I'm thankful for that, honestly, because that right there is what's gonna actually change the system. Um, being able to know and being able to fight with people, not being uncomfortable being on a panel with two brothers talking about race. That right there was ingrained into me as a young man. That has been ingrained into my children, not to be nervous to have a conversation because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever just for feeling a certain way. That right there, generationally, is the only thing that's going to help us survive against a system that has always wanted to break us. Period.
Yeah, that's why. And you're absolutely right. I say have these conversations. We should be having these conversations.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
everybody says, "Well, it might make this group uncomfortable. It makes this group uncomfortable." Well, I'm good with uncomfortable. My group has been uncomfortable for about 400 years here.
and you know
So
what? I appreciate people like you, Ghetto, and Real Deal, because like y'all said, it's a conversation that need to be had. And we're gonna have different things that we're gonna agree and disagree on. But and
yeah,
that's why I say, and this is almost like almost like a how I want to say it, almost like a lesson plan on teaching our children to maybe like somebody like Ghetto or maybe a Real Deal come on and have a conversation like this between me or with me and somebody like Hot Tub Tony and really expose what's going on. So I think this is a good step in kind of teaching our children, you know,
yeah,
have that uncomfortable conversation, but be strong in what you believe in.
yeah. You got to have conviction for it. I mean,
hmm
it's one of the main reasons why I follow Malcolm X. The way he actually turned away from Muhammad because he realized it was all the people. And I did a couple videos on it. Again, my mind's a little bit scrambled right now, but um, he realized there was broke Irish going through it, same police that was doing what to his people were doing to theirs, Italians, and he formed a community before he passed, and that's exactly why he got took out. It's because he was bringing us together beyond the racial boundaries. Of course, he was doing like you say, Tony. You gotta go for your group. But once you see the bigger picture that we're all one group as American people, period. We are the group. We're supposed to be defenders of this country, not the government, not these old ass white people that's been in there since they were fucking 5 years old. It's us. It's up to us. But if we continuously start looking at each other and judging each other, even without any kind of disrespect, but we are judging each other just by the way we look. We gotta then that's where Martin Luther King comes in. You gotta judge a man by his character, period.
Yeah,
But we don't do that. I mean, we don't. I mean, we're born with prejudices. I mean, it saves our lives in many situations.
Yeah,
It does.
I
But at the same time, I just you know I got much love for you, homie, and I do respect you. I got nothing against anything that you feel or say, and I don't take anything. I take everything to heart. I just see it. I think I'll forever see it different just because of my experiences, just because of the
that's
way I
fine.
look and stuff like that.
That's
Um,
absolutely fine. I'm not here to try. That's one thing I don't want anybody to think. I'm not here. What I say from the beginning. These are just my opinion. This is how
yeah,
I
yeah,
look at the world.
100%.
I can still have these conversations with you and still be good friends with you. I don't care. And that
Yeah,
don't
for sure.
don't make me no different that you think differently than I do.
right.
Yeah.
I don't want everybody to think the same.
Yep.
Hell no, that don't make for a good conversation.
I kind of want to hit on what Real Deal was saying. Yes, Real Deal, you're right. There are a lot of poor white people, but what has been built is you have a system of white supremacy, and this is what we kind of get hung up at.
Yeah.
You may be poor, but you have a system that is designed to give you safety net after safety net after safety net at every level of human activity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Those
uh,
those catch-alls are in place for you. So you're only gonna fall so far. Now, we don't have that advantage. There is no mechanism to when the police get on you to stop that. There is no mechanism in place that's stopping mass incarceration. There is no mechanism in place that's effective to stop economic racism, to stop banks from discriminating you, redlining you. These
Yep.
things are not in place. Yeah, theoretically they say they're in place. They got laws for it, but who's actually enforcing those? And that's where it is. It's not the fact that we're giving white people too much credit, but we're telling you there is a system in place that you benefit from. And we have to be honest about that. You do benefit from it. Now, you may not be rich, but the system is still in place. What we want is a more equitable stake in that system. We want actual fairness. Everybody gets treated the same across the board. Either we all gonna be comfortable together or we all gonna be uncomfortable together.
Uncomfortable to go.
That's all we're saying. Wherever you at in there, if it's fucked up for everybody, we're okay with that. Because everybody should if everybody
but
become
it is. So what if that other side of the group? I don't mean to cut you off, but what if that other side of the group is telling you, "Hey, it's fucked up for everybody," but but you're blinded by the fact that no, it's still worse for us than you. So we got to fix us first, and then we don't come together. Because in my eyes, we need to burn the fucking system down. Sorry, Skilly, for saying that on your panel. But
No,
we need
you
to take
good.
the
You good.
whole system completely the fuck down and rebuild it up together as a people, period.
I'm not opposed to that. Go
And
get
Tony said
gasoline in
that.
the match.
Yeah.
Go get it.
Because that's
Go
what
get
I
it.
mean. That's what we really do need is we need an actual physical answer. No more questions. I mean, they was asking with the Panther Party, and I know I'm quoting Tupac, but I mean, y'all people has been asking for how long, and you've been told to turn the other cheek. You've been told to
Yeah.
just vote. So when the fuck do you stand up as a people? And
We're doing
I'll
it
ask
now.
you that as a
We're
people.
doing, and I'll answer that. We're doing it now by rejecting the legal, the political process as it is, because we got 60 years worth of history that show us this party don't work for us. So if neither party is working for us, everything that I say when I talk is we got to take care of ourselves. So when I say we're circling our wagon, we're looking at our economic situation. We're looking at our communities and working within first.
Yeah.
But what happens is that when we do that as black people, especially black Americans, everybody cries foul. Why aren't you jumping on? Why aren't you talking about these Mexicans over here, black people? Why aren't you talking about these LGBT issues? We
Yeah,
focusing on
that's
us. We're
Yep.
focusing on us right now. We can't be. We've ran to everybody's defense for the better part of 60 to 80 years. When can we work on us? That's what we're doing now. And it's no
And
disrespect
no
to
disrespect.
nobody else, no hate to nobody's other group. But we got to get our house in order. And that's what we're focusing on right now. So if us getting our house in order makes everybody uncomfortable, then I'm sorry you're uncomfortable, but that's not gonna stop what we're doing.
I don't think it's uncomfortable. I don't think it's being uncomfortable. I think you got a certain group that's ready to fight, a certain group that's not within both sides of the spectrum racially. And I think it's been like that for centuries as well, where you got people, okay, it's go time right now. We got to change the system, change the system. No, we got to fix this over here first. And white people, just like with black people, whatever. Um, that we don't never meet on the same side to where it's like, all right, we have to fix this. Fuck fixing any group. We need to fix it as a whole.
And once again, I would challenge you if that's your case. If you say we need to tear the whole system down, well, go and start hammering. We'll go after you because we traditionally
Yeah,
been
and that's the
when people
problem.
been doing that, we've been the first to get pushed out. And then when we turn around, everybody else kicking rocks. I don't know what them niggas over there doing. So you go
Well,
first.
but what's it going to take to prove to you? Because I'll use two examples. They may not be the greatest, but you had the Black Panthers that went in there strapped up.
I didn't disagree
Look,
with you. I didn't
no, no,
disagree with you on
I
either one.
understand that, but let me throw you these examples. So you got the Black Panther Party, right? They went up into the Capitol fully strapped up and all
Mm-hmm.
rights to do so,
Mm-hmm.
right? How many of them got smoked?
They damn near
Yep.
exterminated them. All the leadership, pretty much. If they weren't incarcerated,
Did they?
they were
Okay, but
killed.
did they kill somebody while they was in there?
Oh, absolutely not.
No, they
All
didn't.
right. So January 6th, which in my mind, y'all, just so everybody knows, I feel like that was a Broadway show. I feel like that was all theatrics. But the fact that I watched 6 live streams and I watched this little white girl get shot right in the head and die, it should tell us all something. It doesn't matter what color we are, whatever. Once we try to break into the system and do something, they're gonna hand it to us. That is wrong because we should be owning the system, period. All of us as Americans, and we should be policing ourselves. Take it back to the Wild Wild West if you got to, whatever, but we should be policing ourselves. We shouldn't depend on any system or anybody to protect us in any form or fashion. My point is they don't care. But again, that's through my eyes.
I
What's
don't
going on, Coy?
I don't
What's
disagree.
up, Coy?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Oh shit, what's up, Corey? I was sorry, I was in the comments, but I don't disagree with what you're saying, ghetto, because I've seen it work in other countries. But when I say work, it's your life, what you have now, your creature comforts ain't gonna be there.
Nope. Nope.
So
That's what
when you
yeah.
say that, yeah,
That's
I'm
what we
all
all, but
for it,
that's what we
100%.
all need to do. We all need to go without power, internet, water. We all need to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. That's why I'm a prepper because I'm preparing to actually do that. But none of us are really ready to fight by actually taking away all the things that the system gives it, that we allow them to give us.
I'm also a realist though, and in the sense that we are under the system of the most powerful military on this planet. I've seen what this just the army alone is capable of, much less the air
Talking about
force,
them dudes in dresses and shit.
much
That's
less
what they did to our military.
much. Say what you want to,
Yeah, say what you want to.
say what you want to. We still the most powerful military on this planet. And what I don't want is to have the most powerful military on this planet with every gun pointed at my people. And if you shouldn't want it pointed at your people.
I
None of
don't
us
want to
should.
point it at nobody because I don't think that would happen because those same military or our family members, your brothers, your sisters, aunties, uncles, nephews, cousins, same as with mine. Well, there ain't too many with mine other than the older generation, but they're still Americans too. They're still people, and they're not. Now the UN, the blue hats, all them
And
other
that's
ones,
what they,
yeah, I
and
can
that's who
see that
they'll
happening.
and
I
that's
can
who they
see
will
that
bring
happening.
in. That there's already a plan in place. There's already military doctrine to handle civil unrest. And if it
Right,
gets
right.
to that point where it's out of the National Guard's hand, because that's who handles civil unrest within the United
Yeah.
States. Once it leaves their hand, it doesn't go to a big army or what we call big army. It goes straight to the UN. And that's when the blue hats come in. And they don't care because they don't have no stake in this country.
Nah, they was raised to hate Americans. Period.
So
Hey, y'all, let me get Corey in here and say something. What's going on, brother? I seen you sitting there
What's up,
quietly.
brother? What's up? I'm just taking it in. I'm good, Skilly. I'm gonna jump in as needed.
Okay, okay. I did that. Go
Corey is that angel on my shoulder that tempers by my animalistic nature. he,
Real deal.
he
I'm getting uncomfortable up here, brother.
he is
Come
my
on,
voice.
man.
He is my voice of reason.
Come on, real deal.
let
Cause
me
you
throw
more
that
white
invite
than me,
out
bro.
again.
No,
But
I'm just playing.
Shout out to you, brothers, man, for joining me, man. I appreciate you guys. Y'all just don't know.
but hey,
No, I appreciate you having the conversation. Honestly, you always got good conversations over here. I love it.
but I don't want anybody. Everybody has this assumption that black people hate white people. Man, we are the most loving people on the planet because we sat here and took 400 years of absolute abuse. The most violent shit you can do to people has been done to us as a people, and yet we still don't hold, as a people, we still don't hold animosity towards you forward. What we're doing is we're still asking to be treated equally. We're still asking because if we were the people that some people imagine us to be, oh, bro,
Maybe.
you would have to get us out of here
Oh yeah.
because we couldn't coexist. You know,
Maybe
I've
asking is
been
the
I've been
problem.
I've been other places in the world. In Kuwait, I had a Kuwaiti ask me, "How do you as a black person deal with America?" Because if dad had done that to us, we'd be chopping off some heads. And that was a great question because I didn't have no answer for it. I
Mm.
said, "But damn, I
Right.
guess
Hold
that
on,
is a good question."
hold up, Tony. It is easy to answer a question when you're asking it from a position of power.
Yes,
Everybody loves to say what they would have done at this particular time in history
Mm-hmm.
from where they're standing today. That goes for me, you, ghetto, whomever. We are in a different point in history, and we're in a different point in whatever. We all know that it was not a peaceful, just we had a bunch of slaves. There's a whole bunch more that went into that process. You had to
Yeah,
you first of all made it plain and clear in the early years that if this male that was the leader of this family acted out, we remove him, and we left this mother and this young son and these daughters in place, right? And we made a point of having public flogging so you can understand that this mother knows that my baby, which is what is natural progression of the world, mothers nurture, right? That if he gets out of line, he's gonna die. She's gonna do everything in her power to make sure that he doesn't act like that male is gone. Because it's more important that that male exists to continue the bloodline than to be removed. Because without the male, there will be no more. Just like without the female. So miss me with all the what you would have done. No, you would have got your ass beat or you would have ran. But that's about how it's gonna work. So
my question is what we do from now, though, because you were saying you're still asking, Tony. Well, when's the point where we stop fucking asking? And I'll say I'll ask y'all because
the change.
you're the
wait,
ones
whoa, whoa, whoa,
you're the
whoa,
one
whoa.
saying it.
Ski,
What
clarify what you say asking for in terms of asking.
well the way Tony was saying, we're still asking, we're still trying to build our people up, trying to do it. Each group needs
Well,
to. My point is, when is it enough? Enough. You already seen what they're capable of. You already know the history of it. I know the history of it. So, don't you think they're worried? Not worried because they psychologically, economically, by the law, they have everything going for them to keep a specific race down, right? They're not expecting y'all to rise up. They're expecting y'all to still ask questions. Just like they're expecting the Native Americans to just sit there and rot in the reservations. When do we as a people come together and say, no, fuck this, we need to burn this shit down, period?
Uh, First, before we go into that, I want to I want to dispel something with this Native American narrative that they keep going on. The Native Americans are one of the only, they're not the only group, but they're one of the only group that gets a continual reparations package for them. They have the ability to govern themselves. They have the ability to police themselves. They get monthly checks for the
How many
people that
reservations you been to, brother?
I know the conditions of the reservation. So at that point, that's on them.
Same as the ghettos.
That's no,
Same as
we don't no,
same
no,
as the welfare check. Same as the reason why
I
the ghettos are
disagree.
built.
I
And I
disagree
ain't
with
trying
that.
to be an asshole like that, but I do. I'm 30%, 25, 30% Native American. I do have a heritage when it comes to Native Americans.
And
My
I'm gonna tell
grandmama looked like Pocahontas.
and
I was raised
I'm gonna tell you
and taught that too. But it's not about which one's worse or which one's getting better. They're both the ghettos.
I'm not saying it's a fact of worse or not. I'm saying that they have the ability to govern themselves. So pass or fail, right or wrong.
How?
They have that ability because they're their own nation inside of a nation. We're asking to get that. And everybody keeps telling that, then I bring that up because that's a narrative that keeps getting put on. Well, if we give you that, if we give you reparations, if we give you this, look at the Native Americans. They get it and they're not happy. That's them. Everybody got
It
the
ain't
right.
about
Once you
them
get
not
your money,
being happy. It's about them
that's
systematically being killed off.
okay. But like I said, if you're on the reservation, if you're part of the tribe that has gotten money from this government, that has gotten the ability to govern yourself, the federal government is the only people that can come onto the reservation, and they still have to ask for permission. So if your society ain't working right, then that's on you because you have the ability to self-govern. When you equate that to the quote unquote ghettos of America, at no point in our history in America have we been able to govern ourselves. We want that opportunity, and because we have an example of when we had that opportunity at one point to just be by ourselves. We have a 30-year period right after slavery, and you saw prosperous black town, over 60 prosperous black towns pop up over the whole of the United States. So we want that ability, but I think that ability that they know that we have because that example was laid scares those in power because it has the potential of destabilizing the racial hierarchy system that they have in place right now. If we let you govern yourself and you're successful, then what?
Don't you think they let the Native Americans govern themselves because they knew they wouldn't be successful?
That's their problem. That ain't our problem. You can't equate the two. That's
That's
an
the
issue
problem
that they
because we're
have to.
all Americans, though.
That,
It's not
no,
their
but
problem, not our problem. We're all Americans in this, man, period.
if
What is your
that's an
problem
issue,
is my
if that's an
problem.
issue that they have, then they have to work that out within their community. Just like some of the issues that we're having, we working it out in our community right now. If you hear me get on here time after time after time, I admonish my own community first. I tell my own community, this is what we need to do first
Yeah,
because
but
I'm looking out for
collectively,
my
we're more
community.
powerful. We're collectively, I see it as see it on a gang level, right? If you got a cartel that's running shit, you think the Bloods are gonna be able to take care of the cartel? You think the Crips are, or the Vice Lords, whatever you name it, individually, or if they all came together, you think they would be able to smash them?
All right,
They do not want us together, period,
let me
because
let me
we
let me
won't be able
let
to
me
smash. That's the only way we can smash them. Sorry, Corey.
all right. Let me interject on that. Okay, if that's true, say all these groups come together, right?
Right.
And then you say you will use the cartel. So example you gave. If the Bloods, the Crips, the Vice Lords, whatever. Well, the thing about it is, if those groups come together, I understand the logic of, yeah, a united front can be more powerful. But let's look at it like this: if you have a united front and one of those pieces of your front is lacking because they're not developed within themselves, you don't have a united front. You have a front with a weak point. So at some point, you have to develop within your own, whether it's your family, whether it's your community, whether it's racial, whether it's economically or whatever. You have
Right.
to set yourself up in a position starting. It's almost like you start. It's like this. You start with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself right. Then you expand to your family, your wife, your daughter, your sons. and then you expand out that way. So and then you expand into your community. You you follow me?
Yeah, yeah, I
Because
got you.
you can't help nobody when you're already broken. You got to fix your shit first.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that transcends racial lines, that transcends economic levels. If you're fundamentally broken, what are you going to add to
They're gonna
anybody's
they're gonna
cause?
break you. They're gonna break
Yeah,
you before you even get started.
So so in terms of quote unquote the community, the black community, or whatever community you exist in, if you start at home first. One of my
yeah, hundred
mentors
percent.
a long time ago told me, "How do you help the poor? You don't be one." That's one of the truest facts I ever heard in my life because you can't help
Amen to that.
nobody.
Broke person can't help a broke person.
That's
Exactly.
right. You can't help nobody until you help yourself.
Yeah.
So, and getting back to Skilly's topic, which we don't jumped off of.
We did.
Well, hey, we go everywhere around here, so
The thing about I hear about Skilly is you say when are the police? The police department works for the state. Point blank. They are there to serve and protect the interests of the state.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah. I'm
The
learning that. Yeah,
person, if you want to get into the technical part, most police departments has a police chief who's quote unquote goes down that branch. But right above him has an employee that quote unquote we hire.
yeah,
They can say whatever they want to say in the news. Usually it's a mayor. Or it's gonna be a county executive. It's gonna be someone.
The mayor, the city council, somebody in the city
And
government.
yes, they'll come run on media and tell you, oh, this is horrible. We can't have this in my department. Blah 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 blah. But these same people have been hiring these same police chiefs who have been setting the tones all the way down through years. So
hmm
you you aren't going to get what you want from quote unquote the police.
yeah.
Their job is specific, protect and serve the interests of the state. You follow me?
Absolutely.
The only thing that makes police departments move in this country now is when they get hit in the pocket. When their bullshit counts to a certain point that money starts being lost.
Yeah, yeah,
You follow me? That's how it goes. The same thing with most reforms or anything else. At the bottom line, we live in a capitalist society, right, wrong, or whatever. I'm going to tell you like this. If you're in the water, you better learn to swim. Until it becomes a financial burden, this society we live in could give a shit.
yeah.
There's a reason why we have homeless vets. There's a
Oh my
reason
God.
why. There's a reason why. In answer to Tony, there's a reason why the Native Americans are like they are because they even though quote unquote they have their own nation, the system of capitalism has learned a way to exploit that.
hmm
Anyone that thinks that all these money for all these casinos goes back into their communities are
Hell no.
kidding themselves.
They do not.
No,
Mm.
and it's the same thing as anything else about the way it flows. It's all about checks and balance. Where the money, if you, like they always say, follow the
All
money.
money.
But if you want to correct your policing problem, hit them in the pocket. It
Well,
comes
that's
straight down. It comes straight down to this. Every time they screw up, hit them in the pocket. They learn to behave more. There's a certain reason why in certain communities you don't have the same problems. Because if you do these things in these communities, you're gonna lose your job. That's money into whoever's pocket, right? You're no longer gonna hold those positions that you have, which directly affects people's pocket. You're not gonna be the mayor. You're gonna be shunned from all these different contracts and all this other stuff you got going on the back end because you did this in my community.
that's it. That goes with what he said. That goes why. And even though I don't agree with the whole defund the police movement, it was successful in the fact that it hit the police departments across the country in the wallet. Because when
It,
they was killing people, They don't pay for that. Police departments don't pay for that. That comes out of the city budget. And most cities have most cities in America, most major cities have a surplus budget. So when they pay out those cash settlements, that's where that money comes from. That's so directly, that's taxpayer money that you're paying for this bad police officer, quote
Yep.
unquote, that
And
has killed somebody.
because some people think it's coming from their pocket, but no, it's coming from our pockets. We paying
Yeah.
them.
You know what? I was listening and reading a couple things. I ran down a rabbit hole, particularly about in theory of defunding the police, and I heard a guy break some things down that made a whole bunch of sense. Whether we scream defund the police or we scream whatever. Here's the funny thing about it. If you have a police department that quote unquote is killing its citizens, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say defund the police and they need to be better, right? So you take money, because really defunding the police is not taking money from the police department. It's taking
Nope.
money from
Taxpayer.
the quote unquote militarization of the police department and
Yeah.
moving funding into this other department. Here and the thing is, what's going to happen is, yes, the politician is going to go get more money because we defund the police for other programs to put in other places, which in turn means they're going to increase. This particular gentleman was talking about the Chicago rule where they're not chasing people anymore. Matter of fact, it was Kevin Dixie, and it was actually a dope conversation he was having about it. And he said, you stop the chases, right?
Yeah.
So what they do is they start putting money into other means. They're not chasing you anymore. Quote unquote, crime goes up. Crime goes up because citizens come back and say, hey, you need to do something about all this crime. We're going to ask for more money, right? And how it works? Because anytime there's a problem, politicians, anytime you go there with a problem, they say, we need funding to
Yep.
fix every problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Have you not? So this is the game. It's basically comes down to the fact that no matter whether it's the police or the citizenry get pieces of the fallout because they don't give a shit about either or. All it's a matter of is taxing back for the pot for money in their pool for their pet projects. Because they were breaking down equate to if you stop chasing criminals and do all the other stuff they do, they're gonna go to more surveillance.
Yep.
And you see it all over the place as now. You got cameras on ATMs, you got cameras on buildings, you got cameras at all our houses, you got
Traffic
cameras on the
stops.
phone, you got cameras on traffic
In our
stops,
pockets.
you got in our pockets, you have cameras on poles in certain areas. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Because they'll send you a ticket. I mean, some place in Ohio, if you go, you think you done got away, they'll send you a ticket in the mail.
Yeah, they got that here too.
They got that here too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I stopped. So what I do is my officers stop chasing people, right? And we filming stuff. Only time we chase people, quote unquote, in what I deem extreme situations. Extreme situations. I deem it, right? So what we do is we surveil everything, and then we put up all these other forms of electronic snooping and surveillance, right? You start adding because I was reading and I was hearing about because I heard the Dixie talk about it. Then I started reading. Do you know they're hiring drone pilots in municipalities so that they don't have to fly the choppers? They'll just chase your ass down with a drone.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Yeah.
So and then there's supposedly I don't know the validity of how good they are, but there's supposedly these things called gun scanners. They can supposedly cover 2 or 3 blocks to tell whether or not there's a firearm present.
Firearm, yeah.
Right?
They do that now where if they hear a firearm go off, they can kind of...
No, that's different. Those are those listening devices that are listed for gunshots.
Okay,
they're talking about placing devices that basically are basically, as far as I know, it's a Fourth Amendment violation because basically you're walking down the street and you got these devices that are scanning you for guns and weapons and
Oh
blah
wow.
blah blah and all this other stuff.
Dang.
New York
So
has those.
yeah, and if you think about it, that's a violation. What is it? The Fourth Amendment, illegal search and procedure, right?
That's
Yep.
exactly that is.
Early.
So we're running all these dockets, we're running all these battles, and we're fighting all these different fights, and slowly but surely, they're giving away a lot of our civil liberties.
Mm-hmm.
We
But that's what.
Y'all good? Y'all
Yeah, I'm
cut
good. I'm
Oh,
back. But yeah, kind of to his point, that's what happens when you have those knee jerk reactions to it. You said
yeah.
defund 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They said defund the police. Now you quote unquote took away the funding. Now, oh, it's so much crime out here. It's not so much crime out here.
Nah.
Crime is there still is it's an uptick, but it's still at its lowest level since the 80s
Mm-hmm.
across the board. Also on most major crimes, except for drug crimes, which is always going to be on the rise. But you got to strike that balance. You can't be like, well, we need the police to do to be the babysitters of society, and then complain about your civil
Complain about
liberties.
them. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I'm a fan of community policing. Handle your own business.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't need the federal government to step in. In most cases, makes things worse.
Yeah. It does.
So
Yeah. You know
I
they just passed that law about abortion. No more abortions.
yeah, that don't.
That don't make no sense at all.
I'm not. I don't even speak on that because
That's
at the end of the day, that's a women's
woman's
issue.
thing.
I got my views on that, but I'm gonna stay quiet on that.
Okay. Well, it's hold on. I'm about to but Corey them came back. Hold on. My bad, y'all. I just looked up and found out that y'all was in the chat.
I just joined. My bad.
No, you good.
It's
I'm
so
good. I'm
hot
good.
outside. My iPad was burning up. Kicked me
Oh
out of
shit.
everything.
Oh wow.
I ain't gonna lie to you. My mom called me, so y'all had to pause. So
Oh
it
no,
is
you
what
good.
it is.
You got to make sure you answer the phone for mama.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I tell her we said happy birthday, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't. I'm not a big fan of asking the police or any government entity to handle my business. What I'm capable of handling. I'm a fan of community police. Let the community handle the community. If it ain't, if you ain't talking about a murder, then you need to come. You need an outside investigatory agency to come in and step in. What happens in that community, the community is fully capable of
They're
handling.
handling their own. Yeah.
If your community not, then that's what y'all need to work on.
Yep.
It used to be like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You handle it. Everybody. Yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely.
Everybody handled their business, however your business needed to be handled. But one thing this society has done is taken away from, and this goes across the board for everybody. You're taking that ability for me to handle my business away. So now you dictate to me how my business should be handled. And when you let somebody else handle what you should be handling, you ain't
Yeah.
gonna like the
You
results.
ain't gonna like the results, right?
Exactly, and that's
Exactly.
why
Go
that's
ahead. Go ahead.
exactly why we all need to be united with this Roe versus Wade stuff. And I know that's not the subject matter, but we should all be together as one because it doesn't matter about our emotions or how we feel on what is right or wrong. The fact that we as individuals are being attacked and they're stripping us of our rights to choose for ourselves what we should be doing for ourselves. That is the problem as a whole. We
I,
should be able to police ourselves medically, physically, mentally, all of it ourselves.
I just point out the
Up
contradiction.
until go ahead, Tom.
I would just point out the contradiction that the same people who are hollering that it needs to be
Yeah.
my decision, my right, you wasn't saying that shit when you was forcing a goddamn shot down my throat.
Hold on. But see, this is
So
where
you
you
can't
gotta,
have
Agreed.
it both ways.
Tony. I'm finna grab you. I'm gonna grab you because guess what? The flip is true too. Here we got one side that says I need body autonomy and I can take my shot. I don't need to take this shot and I don't need to be vaccinated. That's fine. I don't really care what your position on the vaccination thing. But then you come back down the line and tell me, well, this is what we're gonna ban as far as pro rights. And then like you said, you got the other side saying, oh, you have the right, you have the right to choose. It's but You got to take this vaccine. At some point, we got to look at it like this. Look, I'll say this, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. You got two parties. You got a wolf and you got a fox. And every time I turn around, our dumbasses as sheep keep going to one of them for some help.
Amen, brother. Amen. And that's the
So,
biggest thing they're scared of is us being united. Period.
Yeah,
That's why I don't see the conservative side. I don't see the I see it. I'm not a dumb man, but the fact that we should all stand together and say they do not have the right, because as soon as that happened, what was it? 12 states, bam, it's automatically illegal. Regardless of your feelings about it, we should all be in an uproar. Period.
I'm not gonna
That
let
shit
them
was
put.
law.
I'm not gonna put. It was never. That's a misconception. It was never a law. It was what they call a settled law. That means that there never was a law created. Because if it was a law created, then the Supreme Court couldn't have repealed it. It would have had to go through Congress for being repealed.
Okay, so they knew what they was doing when they settled it back then. They was basically holding the ace up their sleeve, and they're gonna
Basically,
wait till we're running out of food. They're gonna wait till we're already in unrest and the world going into chaos to throw that little card in the poker game. Like, okay, here y'all go too. Make sure you stay divided while we come together and annihilate your ass.
I'm still not gonna use that. I'd let them use this because this is nothing more than a wedge issue. If we got bigger fish to fry, it's bigger shit going on than hey, if you can't kill your baby, that's your. You want to kill your baby, that's your business. They won't let you kill your baby. Hey man, that's a woman's fight basically.
Yeah, it is.
I can't.
Nah, that's all of our fight,
I'm not
man.
gonna tell no woman that it's right is wrong. You ask for my opinion, that's something totally different. I'm not
Yeah,
giving.
I'm not saying that neither, but we should be able to at least have their back as an American, regardless of whether they want to do it or not. I'm completely against it. But again, it's not my choice. My choice is to be an American, though. And my same choice should be to be able to be behind them and let them know, hey, look, I'm gonna ride with you, sister. Shit, that's it.
I,
Period.
like I say, my okay, my objections to it is based off of two one thing in particular. The person who drove that whole movement, the person who drove the Planned Parenthood movement,
Yeah,
Margaret
and
Sanger.
that's why. But that's me too. That's exactly why I'm. That's why I'm
But
saying we should be
that's why I
behind them.
don't like it because I'm not gonna. I understand the origins of it. I understand why it was pushed. It was pushed for a particular reason. Margaret Sanger was an unabashed eugenicist. She did not make no bones about not liking black people, gypsies, retarded people.
You know who her kid is, right?
Oh,
That's Bill Gates, homie.
well, there it is. That explains a lot. That,
Look up,
that explains
yeah,
a whole
look it
lot.
up. That was his parents, exactly. But
That
my
explains a whole
point
fucking
is,
lot.
it's not even about the abortion. It's about the fact that they're forcing it upon other Americans to do something that they have nothing to do with. Just like when it comes to the guns, these old ass motherfuckers in office, they ain't worried about guns because they got $1 million budget to protect their ass. That's what I mean. It's just on the basis of being an American, we should all be standing up, not fighting each other. But again, just like as they threw Trump in there, just like as they threw Biden, all this other bullshit, they got us going against each other, red versus blue, Crip versus blood. It's all a war, and we're not coming together. Period. And
Well,
that is the problem, and that's
I'm not
why I
gonna
speak
allow
like
that.
the
Go ahead, go
but
ahead. I'm
that's
sorry.
why I speak. That It's all good, but that's why I speak the way I do is because I feel like there is no more time to build. There's no more time to, all right, we got to get our ducks in a row over here. We running out of time, man. You got countries out here that are starving to death. And yeah, I understand that there's always been, but not on this, not the amount that they are right now. They are limiting everything and they're doing it on purpose. And they're
Yeah,
able to do it because they got the cameras in their pockets, the microphones. They know the whole fabric of our society at this point, and now they're able to take that control and use it all against us. Food, water, our mental health. It's all right for little kids to get touched. It's all right for this, and the cops at this point. As much as I am against the cops, I wouldn't want to be a cop right now because, at least in my state, they're not allowed to do shit. They're not allowed to help anybody, especially through this Rona shit. So I don't
Okay,
even.
but that's good. That's good. So now you're gonna have to police yourself. So now
No,
you're gonna have
I
to
agree.
handle
No,
your own
I
business.
agree. That's good. I agree that. But you're talking about a land full of sheep. You're talking about the majority does not think like us. So you're expecting, you're expecting all these soy boys, lack of a better word, to run around and police themselves. Man, they cry when you raise your voice at them.
Well,
So
everybody
it's
ain't gonna
like,
make it. Everybody ain't meant to.
I agree with you there. I 100% agree
I
on
don't
that
see.
one.
I don't see that as an issue. I see it as
I do because
natural
it's the
selection.
majority of us. Yeah,
All
but
right,
when it's the majority,
hold
man, that's
ghetto,
the
ghetto,
problem.
ghetto.
What's up, man?
I'm gonna drop a dime to you. Here's
All
the
right.
thing: whether the majority of people may not be with the causes or see things your way, but when you try to convince them and you insult them to convince them, they're gonna say "fuck you."
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I agree.
I'm
I
just
agree.
saying.
He must
So
he
a
must
lot,
have
a
just
lot.
had a soy sandwich.
Nah, not at all. But
Hey, we're gonna shout out some people.
I've learned.
Misunderstood 22. I ain't never seen them in the chat. What's going on? BLW, what's going on? I ain't never seen the first time seeing these two in the chat.
that
Welcome,
that's
people.
that's BLW is the man that raised me.
Oh,
He
okay,
is
what's
why I
up?
am me.
Oh, well, welcome,
I
my
try to
brother.
get him on the panel. I try
Well,
to get him on the panel,
if you're a friend of Ghettos, you're a friend of mine. What's going on, BLW?
but
Silverback, Tactical in Defense, Jovan. Y'all can go ahead. Ray Official. I'm just shouting out some people, but go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry to interrupt y'all like that.
But
What
I
what
mean,
what
I
what we
get what
got to
you're saying though.
what we all got to learn in this push that we all got our own gripes, right? My gripes are not yours. This, that, and the third. But what we do is we move when our interests are in common,
Yes.
and we move then. But just because our interests are in common at this point, don't expect our interests to always be in common. But we have to be as men respect that. I'm moving with you with this, but this ain't my fight. You understand where I'm coming from with that? Because what happens is,
nope.
okay, here's the deal.
I hear you. I didn't mean to be rude, but
No,
I
you all
don't
good. You
because
all good.
your fight is my fight, regardless of what it is.
No,
Your
no, no,
fight is
no,
my
no,
fight,
no, no,
and
no, no,
and I'm gonna
no,
stand with
no,
you as an American.
no. See, because at the end of the day, we're all different, right?
Yeah, agree.
We all have common issues, and those are the ones we fight for, right?
And we all share the same rights, though.
Right.
That's where
That's
I'm
yes,
coming from.
For far as rights, we all fight for rights. That's a given. But
All right,
you got
that's
to.
good.
That's the given. We all. I always say it's not about fighting for rights. It's not about fighting for this. It's this quote unquote country, the hills of North America, the United States, whichever way you want to refer to it, wrote a contract with its people.
Mm-hmm.
As far as me being a black man, all I'm trying to do is make sure you hold your end of your contract. Because guess what? Every year by the 15th of April, you're gonna come get your money that's part of my contract, right? So all I'm saying is do what's owed to me just as well as I do what's owed to you, right?
Right.
Fair, right? That's fair all the way across the board. If I go to you and say, hey, ghetto, I want to get this from you, and I'll give you this for it. If I take this and don't give you, and if I take this from you, it's fair. It's understood that I'm supposed to be giving you what you asked for, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only contract that I believe we should have with this country. Give us what's due for us that we are here. That whether you're black, green, yellow, or whatever. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you to do anything else than that. Just uphold your end of the bargain, and the rest I'll take care of.
Pretty much.
I'm a million times behind you on that. But when does it say, okay, give it to me? All right, motherfucker, now I'm taking it. Excuse me, Skizzy. I didn't mean to be cussing.
I'm not.
But
I'm gonna say this, In my younger years, I was that dude. Yeah. You want to run up? You want to do this? Yeah, let's do this. I would have been all about the shit that went on January 6th. Not so far as their politics and defense of January,
right,
but
yeah,
just that
yeah.
in itself. As I've gotten older and wiser, that's a fight that nobody wins. The country ain't gonna win it. We ain't
Exactly. Yeah. And I agree with
go.
you there, Tony, because where my
I
fight is,
don't I
it,
don't
it starts at
entertain
my
those.
property line.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
entertain
I
those
hear you.
conversations, especially not on the internet, which is always
I
listening.
hear you. I hear you. Look, man,
I
my
don't
my
entertain
emotions,
nor
my
condone nor endorse.
apologies. My emotions really speak for my future and my children. I'm trying to think of what this country looks like for my children when they're 40 years old, or your children, or anybody's children when they're 30, 40 years old, and they got to deal with the same, if not worse. It's not even if not, it's going to be worse if we ourselves continue to let them just roll right over us. The same way that
I'm not
our
saying do that.
ancestors, they didn't handle it the way they were supposed to be. That's why we're in the position we are. But I'm also a firm believer that we are our own men, we are our own women, and we create our and control our own reality. So it's up to you, it's up to me. If I'm going to be happy, if I'm going to raise a family, if I'm going to succeed, it's up to me. It's not up to anybody else. But as a whole, it's the parent in me. It's the worry that I'm leaving my children a legacy that's all bad across the board, and
Well,
it's all control.
one thing I could say that every group of people pretty much agree that the way America is running right now is fucked up.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, it's
and
horrible.
Exactly.
that's common across the board. Okay, that's your common goal.
Yeah.
How I go about it, how my community goes about it, may not be the way your community goes about it. You do what you think.
Right.
This group of people may do what they think is best, but as long as everybody's working towards that common goal, with it being chipped away from so many different angles, eventually you'll get to that what goal, whatever that goal is. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Yeah. 100%.
I ain't saying there's one way to go about it. I take it when I address it to my particular tribe, my particular group, and I'm saying, hey, this is where we need to step it up at. I'm not saying go against these groups of people to go. I don't even really mention going against a particular racial group or nothing like that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm saying these are the things we can tighten up on our end to make our position in this system better.
Right. Right. And I
That's
don't
where I
condone
speak
that
up, and
neither, y'all.
that's why I kind of tell you, you need to talk
Yeah,
to
I
your
know.
folks and do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That the
But
problem
I
is
think
I'm
y'all
talking
both.
to my
My bad. Go ahead.
I'm talking to my folks. I'm talking to my folks right now, man. I'm asked out.
Well,
Well,
you know what? I believe what Corey said is what both of y'all pretty much getting to, but in a different way. Y'all saying
yeah,
it a different way.
Yeah, we all on the same page, period.
yeah, ain't
And
nobody
my bad for saying burning shit down, because they did pass a law just recently that most people may not know, but they passed a law if you are publicly on a social media account talking about particular things against the government. It was something else that was passed through the January 6th stuff, is that could be used against you as domestic terrorism. So my bad for even saying
and
anything bad about.
once again, this is a disclaimer. I do not
Act,
condone, nor does the channel, does Tactical
Ghetto, you
Leadership
Yeah,
talking
condone
me
nor
neither.
endorse any
you're talking
such
about
actions against
acts
the
of
federal
sedition.
government. That is not what I'm saying.
Nope, we're not
You're
doing
Yeah,
that.
me,
talking
me
about
neither.
you're talking about acts of seditions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Although
unfortunately, yeah.
I will say this, quote unquote, the father, one of the fathers of quote greatest and blah blah blah, the bullshit they say about the founders of this country, did say
Yeah,
that the tree of liberty need to be watered with blood from time to time, and I'll leave it like that.
amen, brother.
Well, man, it's going on 2 hours. I'm so thankful for you guys jumping on this panel, Corey, Ghetto, and Hot Tub. Man, it was definitely an interesting conversation. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate y'all thoughts. I appreciate y'all passion for this, man. And I'm glad y'all did come on here with me and chop it up with me. To everybody else in the chat, thank you guys for coming through, supporting me. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I had to do it at work. The internet not working too good, so that's why I'm not on. You don't see my face, but
They can see mine, Skilly. Hey, family.
so I was originally supposed to been at home, but late last night while I was at work, they told me could I come in early. So I do apologize. I would normally be at home right now, but I'm not. So I really didn't want to cancel it at the last second. So I just figured I'll just bring my laptop to work and do it from here. But man, thank you guys for y'all support. Thank you, Real Deal. I know you was busy doing something, but you normally jump on. But I'm kind of figuring you doing what you have to do. Shout out to my co-host Delray Dan. He's a little busy. You know, he stayed busy. He's busier than I am. But shout out to him. He's doing good. I talked to him the other day through text message. He good.
Tell Delray we said what's up, man.
I will. So man, I thank y'all for this discussion. It has definitely been an interesting discussion. Thank everybody for their opinions. Thank everybody for respecting each other. And man, I look forward to doing this next Sunday, man. Y'all be safe, be blessed, and stay alert. Um, and stay strapped. Anything you want to say, Corey, before we get up out of here, brother?
No, like you said, respecting everybody's opinion. If we could get back to the place where people can have a discussion and respect each other's opinions, a lot of our problems would disappear. That's
Right.
it.
Go ahead, Ghetto. I'm gonna let
Exactly.
you go next, sir.
Oh, you don't want me to say nothing else, man. You're good.
All
No,
right.
I'm
Well,
just playing.
hey.
Shit, just like what you said, man. Stay strapped and have a burner or two. That's it.
All right, Tony. Go ahead, brother. You the wise. You the
No, we all legal gun owners around here. Ain't no
Yeah,
burners around
exactly.
here.
I'm
I don't know what y'all got going on in Oregon, but we don't have no burners in Atlanta.
Once again, good.
it's a lighter. It's a particular lighter. That's all.
It's a big slider, y'all.
Yeah, that's all.
Like you say, man, just everybody just don't get your panties in a bunch when we have these conversations. It's not directed towards any group of people. It's not that we hate any group of people. We just talk about issues, and that's what we need to get back to, having honest conversations with different groups of people so it doesn't become an echo chamber. So you getting everybody, and we might find some common ground, like Corey said, that we can all work together on that particular issue. But you won't know if you don't have these conversations. So I don't want nobody to say, oh, they just a bunch of black supremacists over there and they those racists. No. We need to have these conversations. And once we have these conversations, we go back to how we were. Everybody getting along or whatnot. We just don't agree. We may disagree on some issues, but we have to do it
Yeah,
respectfully.
100%. I got one last thing, Skilly.
Go
Don't
ahead.
be uncomfortable. Don't be uncomfortable if you see a panel of brothers talking. Jump your white ass on there, and vice versa. Jump
Please.
your black ass on a white panel if you have something to say about the conversation. No, for
Please
real
do.
though. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's supposed to be. You know,
Mm-hmm.
nothing should hinder you. Nothing should make you nervous or anything like that. We're all human beings. Period. You
Well, I'm
know,
gonna leave you with
and
that, man.
we're all
Go ahead, Ghetto.
Americans.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying we all Americans. That's all.
Okay. Well, we're gonna leave out that, man. Well spoken, Ghetto. I appreciate you guys, Corey, Hot Tub, and Ghetto again for joining me, man. Thank you guys for sticking with me in the comment section. Until the next time, man. Y'all stay safe and also keep your mental together, man. It's these times right now are very hard, man. You just it's crazy, and everybody know. But keep your mental together. Man, if you need to talk to somebody, get with somebody, talk to somebody, your brother, you know, if you need a therapist, just whatever could get you through, we're not uh, losing your mind and going insane, man. Um, love you guys, love you, Coy, love you, Ghetto, and love you, Tony, man. These are my brothers. Until next time, man, y'all be blessed and be safe and peace.
Peace
Hold
out.
on, Skilly, one more thing.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Everyone in there, take the time to love on your damn self.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Shout out to the big cuz. He just hopped in, a regular gun guy. What's going on, brother?
Our double.
I appreciate Tony for not making a joke after Coy said that to Ghetto. I'm just saying. I appreciate
Yeah,
you
you did.
not making a joke.
How did I miss that? Say it different, bro.
I had all kinds of jokes in my head, like this motherfucker gonna get me. He
Hey man,
he
you
gonna
should
do it in
have dropped the joke.
he gonna do it in his Frederick Douglass voice and everything, and I'm just gonna get bored.
I damn sure missed it, boys. You got to say that different.
All right,
I
y'all be good.
appreciate you, Skilly.
Man, of course, man. Anytime, Ghetto. You know you my brother, man. Anytime, brother.
Bye.
All right, y'all be good, be safe, and take care of each other, man.
Peace out.
All right, sir.